Welcome back to the Xano521 podcast. My name is Mitch McKinney, once again here with our owner, Jay Bryant. Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
At Xano521, what do we do?
We transform the spaces where you live, work, and play into beautiful works of art. And we service areas all the way from Orlando, across Central Florida, all the way up to St. Augustine. We're glad you're joining us today.
Absolutely. Before we jump into today's episode, we want to ask you and encourage you to please like or subscribe to this channel on YouTube or on whichever platform you're tuning in with. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, Jay, you're back again.
I'm here.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing today?
I'm doing better. I'm getting a little bit used to these cameras, you know. It's just not my comfort zone.
All right, exactly. So we got another episode. We have more questions. Again, just to reset, the reason why we're doing this is because there's so much information out there, so many companies, so many products, and we're trying to inform. We're trying to inform and make sure our customers have as much knowledge as they can, because these coding projects are an investment.
They're not cheap, yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help them make the best decision that they can, whether it be your garage, your driveway, your pool deck, patio, residential, commercial, whatever it is an investment. And so we want to make sure you have what you need. So far, we've talked a lot about how to choose a company. We've talked about the differences in the products that are out there. Today, we're talking about money.
Oh boy.
We're talking about money. This is by far probably the question we get asked the most, because there's never a question about whether it looks beautiful or whether they want it.
It's how much does it cost? How
much does it cost?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Tell everybody exactly how much it costs.
I don't know.
No,
it's very complex. It's very complex because there's so many variables that go into this, Mitch, that, you know, just for us to throw a number out there, you know, there's one or two things going to happen. We're either going to bait and switch you by giving you a low ball number, and then when we come out, we're going to jack it way up, because when we see your project, there's a lot more to it than we expected. We'll talk about some of those things, those items, or we're going to put a high number in there and we're going to scare you away. And that's what all the companies, not just us, all of concrete coatings companies have to deal with this, right? It's like, how do we tell somebody who just wants a number what it's going to cost? We got to get out and look at it.
Yeah, and I know that customers often get really frustrated.
Well, they want to see if it fits in their budget.
They just want to know, just like, give me a number. But if we give you a number, and then when we get out, there are so many different variables that go into it. So you want to talk about some of that?
I would say we need to be real careful, though. If for homeowners that you get a phone call, you call a company up and they give you a number on the phone, just be real careful, because those is an indicator to me they're not a professional company, because there's no way they can just ballpark a number, send that to you, and then come out there and actually do it. They're either overcharging you and using a really cheap product, or they're going to bait and switch you in the end. So just caution there.
That's good. That's a good heads up. So let's talk about the different factors or the different variables that go into what it actually costs.
So the first thing is obviously the size of the project. The square footage, you know, that's going to be a big factor in it, because there is a baseline just for the product and the time it takes to do that. Most companies will have a minimum to come out, because the time it takes to do a 500 square foot garage versus a 100 square foot patio is really about the same. So, you know, most companies will have that minimum just to come out for that day. So just don't be surprised when you see a company that tells you, hey, our minimum is X. Don't let that scare you away. There's reasons for that. But some of the factors that when we come out and look at your project that we're going to have to dig into is, number one, the square footage. How big is it? How big is the area? And then number two, how much repair needs to be done? Is there a lot of cracks, a lot of pitting? There's things that we have to fix. And then moisture content. If you're getting a good system, we talked about the polyurea system, which, you know, requires a certain level of moisture. Do we have to mitigate the moisture because you just have a wet surface under there? There's a lot of reasons for that. We could get into that in another episode. But so moisture is an issue. The hardness of the concrete. So we do a Mohs pick test, what we call it, where we scratch the concrete with different tips to find out how hard that concrete is. If it's super hard, it's going to take a lot more effort to get that concrete prepared. If it's super soft, that's another whole issue. So we need to check that to just make sure we go into the project with our eyes open and manage the customer's expectation. Also, we have whether you have an existing coating. We talked about that in the past. If you have an existing, epoxy or paint, or something like that has to be removed first. That's added time, added effort, more diamonds that we use to take that off. That might add a little bit to the cost as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of in your prep category, those type of things that we need to know before we give a price.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then you have features.
Okay.
So you talk about it like a garage, for an example.
Right.
A lot of folks, you know, they want the little area 4 to 6 inches around the garage. We call those the verticals.
Verticals, yeah.
We want that area coated because it looks nice as it curves up.
Awesome. It looks awesome.
Right. But, you know, there's a little bit added for that. If you have some steps we need to do.
Yeah.
When we talk about pool decks, you need to get your pool coping. You have
Right.
plastic expansion joints need to be dealt with. So a lot of variables there we want to assess to make sure we know what we're getting into before we actually give you a price.
Yeah. So for those of you who are out there who want to know price and you ask us what the price is, we're not trying to frustrate you.
We're not.
We're not trying to pull a fast one on you. We're actually looking out for your best interest. We want to make sure that whatever the number we give you is the real number. What is the real cost of it?
Yeah, we don't give estimates.
No,
we actually give quotes.
Yeah.
We give exact prices.
Yeah, so if you have a project that you'd like for us to come out and look at, we can give you a very, like, to the penny quote on how much that project would do. I'll give you more information of how you can get in contact with us and schedule that with us as we close. But let's get back to the cost, because I think people still want some kind of number. Can we give them some kind of range at least? Can you say at least from here to here, or is it still just like?
Yeah, there's some standard ranges that you can look at. Again, it depends on the system you choose. If you're choosing just a standard chip system, that kind of fits in one category. But if you start going to the shop flooring system or granite system, or if you're looking at an epoxy system, you know, because that's one of the options that we gave you is potentially going with an epoxy.
Yeah.
There's going to be a range for that as well. Epoxy is a little bit cheaper. For, let's say, a standard 2-car garage, roughly around 500 square feet, you know, for epoxy, you're looking at somewhere between $2,000, $2,300 to about $3,000. Where if you have a polyurea system, you might be more in the $2,600 to $3,500, somewhere in that range. Again, depending on those circumstances.
Depending upon the circumstances, because I know somebody is going to reach out to us and say, "Hey, you said you can come do my garage for $2,600," and then when we get out there, it's 10,000 square feet. You just can't do it for that much. So, ballpark, I think that's fair. I think that's a good range, and there are different options out there. But for what we come in contact with, people are mostly trying to figure out: do I do epoxy, or do I do a polyurea system like we do?
Right.
Because, you know, for the untrained eye, so to speak, when you walk into it, like initially, they look very similar, right? It's hard to just tell what's that and what's that. And so if I have a project that I want to get done, let's say it's a garage. Well, we do all kinds of projects, but let's just say for this example, it's a garage. How do I determine what is the best product from a cost perspective on my side? Is it just, do I just go with the cheapest? That can't be, right? And I can't just go with the most expensive. Like, how can I figure that out from a cost perspective?
The first thing I would say, you have to determine what are you going to be doing with this space. Like, are you planning on being here
That's fair.
for a long time? Is this your home for the next 7, 10, 12 years?
Yeah.
If you're looking at just flipping your home or selling it soon, then go with a little bit less expensive option.
Yeah.
Be careful, because if you're looking at 3 to 5 years of selling your home, you don't want to put an epoxy system, and in 3 to 5 years when you're ready to sell,
Right.
you have kind of a delaminating, kind of ugly system sitting there. You want it to look good when you sell it.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at selling within a year or so, I wouldn't spend the money on a very expensive system. Just get something down, make it look nice, give it that curb appeal that people are looking for to sell. So, to be perfectly honest, I would push somebody to an epoxy system that are looking to sell soon.
Yeah.
If you plan on staying in your home, though,
2, 3, 5 years.
yeah, you're going to want to spend the extra money up front now.
Right.
Because what happens is, if you plan on being here longer and you put an epoxy system in now, then in 3 to 5 years or less, you're going to be calling us out to put our system in. And guess what? Now we got to charge you more, talking about cost.
Because we got to remove it.
We got to remove it now. And so we've actually told our customers that, hey, if you're not going to go with the polyurea system now,
just don't do it.
Just don't do it yet.
Don't do anything.
Just wait.
Don't do anything.
I know money's an issue for doing these type of projects, so maybe just wait a little longer until you can actually get the system that's going to last and stay there for a long time.
Yeah, there have been many times when we've advised customers, you're not going to be here very long, so this is probably not the best product for you from a cost perspective. At the same time, if you are planning on being where you are for 2, 3, 5, 10 years, then we would strongly advise that you consider the polyurea system, because it's going to, so with an epoxy system, it's going to be cheaper on the front end, right?
Right.
But it's going to, at some point, and this is not us being biased here, it's just a reality.
It is, yeah.
It's going to fail. And so then at that point, you're going to have to figure out, well, what am I going to do now?
You can put another epoxy system in. Now you've just doubled your price from the original. It's probably gone up since then.
Correct.
And then that's going to fail in 3 to 5 years, or so you're going to keep compounding your cost.
Right.
Spend a little bit more up front for a system that's going to last probably longer than we will.
I think that's one of the huge benefits of the system that we use. It's like it's more cost up front, but it's a one and done. Like once it's down, it's down. It's going to be there forever. When I was thinking about this cost, what's most cost effective, for me, it's not just the cost of the product. For me, there's the hassle of what do I do with my stuff. And so regardless if you have an epoxy system or a polyurea system, the first time you got to move everything out of the garage, then you got to store it somewhere, you got to do something with it, and then when it's done, you got to move it back in. So with our system, it's just a one-time deal.
And it's only one day.
It's only one day for most garages, and it's a one and done. Versus, if my system fails, whatever I choose, then I have to do all that process again. To me, it's not. I personally, I'd rather pay more up front and just have that system, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. So, okay. So I think we gave them enough. Do you think?
I'm sure that there's folks out there that would like to pin it down a little bit tighter, but hey, here's the great part is most professional companies will come out and give you a free quote, no obligation. We're not a high pressure sales company, so we're going to come out and just paint it up for you, paint the picture for you and tell you exactly what the cost is going to be, and that's it. We don't like the high pressure sales stuff.
No. So, and when we come out, we are going to be honest with you. If we believe that our product is the best, we're going to tell you that for what you're doing. If not, we're going to tell you that as well, and we'll give you other options that you might want to consider. So if you would like to schedule a time for us to come out and look at your project, we'll give you a free quote. Make sure and visit us on our website at Xano521.com, Xano521.com. There you can learn more about our company, our products, our process. You can see all the recent jobs that we've done, probably one nearby you. And then you can find out all of our contact information, and you can schedule that appointment there. Okay?
Sounds good.
That's it for this. You're off the hot seat.
All right.
All right. Next time, on next episode, we're going to be talking about preparation. Can you imagine that's what there's actually a process that should be. Prep
is primary, man.
Prep is primary. And we're also going to be talking about repairs. So if you would like to join in that conversation, make sure that you tune in next time on the Xano521 podcast. We'll see you then.
Good day.